I believe Thierry Henry, TT. Thierry Henry is the most influential football legend with the most aura of all times. Onside or offside?
I'm going offside.
Offside.
I'm saying onside.
Onside.
I agree.
Come on now.
I
agree.
Before I
Offside.
even jump in, I'm going to let you two give me your takes as to why. Because
Okay.
I think I could name 4 or 5, and it's no disrespect to TT. I think he's absolutely fantastic. You guys are definitely onto something. I'm not disagreeing with that. So please take it away.
Elijah, you go first.
So for me, I think Thierry Henry, for one, let's just, on the aura side of things, I think Thierry Henry has the most aura of any footballer ever. Being influential also adds to that because there's a generation of players now who are pros who looked up to Thierry because he was the super macho footballer. And, you know, you can argue that that's not always a great thing, but he was, quote unquote, the tough guy, the naturally talented, skillful French player who came to Arsenal and said, oh, Dennis Bergkamp is the big dog here? No. Tell him there's a new pup in the kettle. I'm here to take over. Like, I'm taking over. This is my team now. To have that type of confidence to say that you're going to take the spot of a living legend, take over. Like, that's the guy. That's the careers and the foundation of a lot of careers have been built off of that influence. And for a guy, right, like Cecilio Waterman from Panama to go in a moment so big, in his career, right? You don't get many moments like this. For him to score, to eliminate the U.S. from the Nations League, then to run to Thierry Henry and not celebrate the goal. That wasn't a moment of celebrating with him. He was celebrating him. Imagine having somebody celebrating you during their moment. That's already the influence right there. But then you look at a few days later for Thierry Henry to then go and meet him, right, in the
exchange jerseys,
to exchange jerseys. He brought him an Arsenal kick, and you see a softer Thierry Henry. You see a guy who's able to shake a young player's hands who looks up to him, give him a hug. Back in the days, Thierry Henry's doing none of that. Like, you can see the dog in his eye, in his eyes. Like, you could see the intensity that he carried. But now he's the guy who's able to say, hey, I miss my family. My kids were crying every time I was supposed to leave. So I left the game because of that. He's the guy who's saying I had to go to therapy. I had to deal with my trauma as a man. So for you to then go from that dog to now the softer OG who's able to balance both, like, yeah, you were inspired by this, but here's who I am now. No player, I don't care what player, and I'm going to let you make your case. And I'm going to let you also, you know what I'm saying, tell me what you think. But I feel like no player has had that balance, that dichotomy ever in football, and possibly not even in sports overall.
So you're just saying that one moment.
So I feel like
makes
part
him
of that one moment,
influential player of all time.
Not just that one moment. I'm just saying that one moment was the personification of what a lot of players feel. So I feel like the growth that he's had mixed with the influence, that's aura.
So I'm going to say we can talk about what he did on the pitch endlessly. We all know. When I was growing up, I was gifted FIFA, and Thierry Henry and Bergkamp they were the opening to the FIFA game. Yeah. And I fell in love with the way that TT played, followed him the rest of his playing days. Yeah. He inspired me so much personally, also to see another black athlete at that level. So to me, he goes down as a legend, but his playing career, yes, it's what he's done post-playing career for me that is the most impactful. To see a person of color up on a screen, breaking down the game, being vulnerable, a man being vulnerable, which is a huge conversation right now. Being able to share your stories, but then also still influencing the game where he's coaching, he's on TV, he's accessible. Yeah. I mean, even someone who is his idol being able to run up and celebrate the biggest moment of their career with him, to tell him, you're my idol, you're my idol. I do this game because of you.
Before he even said, you're my idol, there was pure fear in Thierry Henry's eyes.
On the whole desk.
I think he thought, what are you going to
do? That was fear. The last time I saw that was in Chris Rock's eyes when Will Smith was running up that stage.
And then Will Smith was performing crazy. But that should be a whole
I don't disagree with anything you're saying. But the question was the most influential player.
I think influential because of his accessibility and visibility right now is incomparable to any other player.
David Beckham, Maradona, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Zinedine Zidane. I get it because of accessibility. Yes, he's on TV, but I think that moment for sure changed the way of, wow, he's actually, like you said, doesn't have that bite in him that we saw as a player, like we saw in a coach. He's actually just one of us. And the exchange that we saw with that, I think, allows us into the side of athletes that not a lot of people get to see. So a lot of the times where you're like the Luis Suarez, we spoke about it last week on our show, Through Ball, that, you know, the exchange with the jersey with the young girl. These are those athletes. You were an athlete. You get that side of it. You see it inside the locker room. You have a lot of people. You were an athlete as well in your Sunday league with, was it Miss Mary or? But I love that TV allows allows a side of to let people into our lives or their lives that they might not see that side of it. So I think that is incredible. But I don't think with the question, is he the most I think he's up there for sure. I think he's top 10, 100%. But I don't think he is the most influential person. That was the question. I think that moment, though, showed that athletes are real people at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how much money they make. It doesn't matter how many houses they have, how many cars they drive, how many this, that, watches, Rolexes, Pateks that they own. At the end of the day, they grew up loving the same game that we love. They grew up loving the same thing.
He's that guy. He is the most influential. He's that guy.
Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi in a long run might overtake that in terms of influence. I'm speaking of right now in current day because there's some active players.
Less influential. You're saying Messi's less influential.
Two professional players that are in the game right now who have started their career, who have watched Thierry Henry as kids and who have been inspired by not just his performance, but his work ethic, his drive. There's a lot of kids who
Messi says that about Thierry Henry.
Yes, and there's a lot of kids who watch Ronaldinho skill compilations on YouTube. Yes, but are they, as an overall player, are they looking at Ronaldinho to the same degree that they're looking at Thierry Henry? They're looking at his skills, but as a competitor, is he having that same impact on them? So that's why for me the influence is just different. Now, again, it might be a different conversation when some of those players are retired, and I think
I still think Messi is not retired. I think he has more influence than Thierry Henry. Look at all the leagues he went to. You tuned into every single game Lionel Messi went to. You bought every single jersey that Lionel Messi went to. I'm sure you own an Inter Miami jersey.
I want to do a poll. Please let us know in the comments. Please, everyone, let us know in the comments. Who do you think is Thierry Henry?
TT.
Is Thierry Henry? Am I bugging? Is Thierry Henry the most influential footballer of all time?
Yes.
Let us know.